Yeah, you're on mute, man.
Okay. You could just tell me that in private chat, but I got you.
No,
Um,
sorry, I literally
sorry.
just came in, but
Yeah,
not
good.
everyone's already saying it in the chat, so I
I
could
see,
literally.
I see, I see, I see. I don't know why it put me on. Sometimes when you go live, sometimes it goes straight to from it takes you off mute, and then sometimes it doesn't. But it
No,
helps.
you were mid sentence. I popped in and you were mid sentence, so I just yeah, I didn't have
Okay.
time to open up. But people were already putting muted in the
I
chat, so
started seeing that. I started seeing that now that
yeah.
you mentioned it. I just started seeing that. I think you're on mute. I think you're on mute. I am on mute, but I'm no longer muted. I wanted to say, look, I spoke on how I love the fact that we can say Premier League champions are back in town. I talked about how some of them might be suntan from Dubai, some might be, um, dusting off the cobwebs from a hangover or two from in our coach Arne Slot from Ibiza. We've got some blockbuster deals, possibly a striker swap. We got confirmed deals. We got juicy rumors. But I was saying, what I was trying to get at is that I wanted to start off with the confirmed rumors, the confirmed deals, and that is one massive, massive signal for the future of Liverpool, and that is Conor Bradley has signed a new 4-year deal, keeping him at Anfield until 2029. Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold going to Madrid made it a lot more of a important get or important signature for us. So the Northern Irishman, that's key, is in line to be our starting right back. And make no mistake, this isn't just about a loyalty bonus. The club sees him as the real deal. He's earned a major, major pay raise. And more importantly, the trust of the manager. Asked what he wants next. Bradley told Liverpool, actually told LFC TV, more games, more trophies. I think that's what we all want to hear, right? So, big up to Brian for joining us. Glad to have you here. And I'll just start off the. I'll tell you this, and then I got a really, let's see, hard question to answer. But has Connor Bradley shown enough this season to deserve the full time starting right back role? Do you think? Because he's been in and out of the lineup. Has he this? Is he deserving of the role? This is a big step, to be honest. And I'll ask you.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Hmm?
Sorry. Yeah. Tom. By the way, good to see you.
Good to see you, Tom. Big up, Bonkers.
Um, Sorry. Jeez, it just skipped there. Now. Yeah. I think it's a really interesting time. I think it was well done by the club because what you're doing is you're sitting down. Uh, Trent is leaving. You know.
Mhm.
Connor is like going to be the main guy. You know. I was saying earlier on in my show, I was equating it to like what Kelleher was saying was like, you're behind Ali, you think you got a chance, you know he's the main man, but you're there, you're second choice, and then you hear the club's gone out and signed a brand new keeper.
Mhm.
That affects your thinking. So
Mhm.
I like the way the club has played it. That basically today has been the Fabrizio Romano. Here we go on Frimpong. You know, so the big news is the big story is Liverpool buying a new right back. You know, big money spent on a right back. Um, he's the story. So you turn around on the same day to Bradley, you go, we might be buying a new right back, but bang, here's a big new contract and a pay raise for you.
Mhm.
So you know, you're saying to him, we yeah, of course we're bringing in someone else, but this is how much we value you. You're still a big part of the future. So I like the timing of it to do it like that.
Mhm.
That says to him, don't worry, yeah, this story is going to come out today that we've signed Frimpong, but we're signing you to a big new contract as well.
Right.
So that to me says, like, I still think he has a massive part to play next season. it's interesting. It's healthy competition. It could come down to, one of them has to play so well to stop the other one getting in. But I
Mhm.
still think we start the season with him as our first choice right back, um, and Frimpong. But it'll be really interesting to see how it works out. But yeah, I like the idea of, don't worry. Yes, we have signed a new right back for 30 million quid, but bang, big new contract for you, pay rise. So you're also massively valued here.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I think for me, he does start next season. Just about, just
Mm.
about. But
Okay. A couple different answers in the chat. Could be, if not injury prone. Red Armchair Supporter says yes when fit. Norm says yes with Frimpong. Okay. Um, Scottish Bear, good, big up, big up. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. Good to see you. Let's see. Bradley is perfect for certain games as a regular starter. Not sure, but a fantastic player. Let's see. Anyone else says? Talk about something. Frimpong and Mo on the right side will be frightening. That would be Frimpong, and having that speed on the right will definitely be a little notch up for some things going forward for us for certain.
uncomfortable evening for a few left backs. That is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's what you're up against for the day is Frimpong and Mo running at you. You better be ready for it, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Would
I'd be ready.
Frimpong potentially arriving, or pretty much slated to arrive? Would you say that Slot should look to rotate this position, or platoon the position between Frimpong and Connor, or should he just commit to like one as his long-term right back? Commit to saying you're my starter, but I will play this other player as your deputy, somewhat like similar to what Robbo and Simicast have going on for them. Or would you rather see them rotate pretty distinctly?
But this is what I was saying from a while ago. This is before this was happening. This is the most interesting transfer we make this season because if you say to Bradley, "We want you to be the main man going forward," how do you back that up? An older player who doesn't expect to start, a younger player who's even more of a project. So you've got two young right backs,
Mm-hmm.
or then do you bring in direct competition?
Mm-hmm.
So how do we play it? So yeah, I have no idea. Like I'm not nowhere near clever enough to be able to say like, look, you can't just do a Frimpong plays, then Bradley plays, then Frimpong plays, then Bradley plays. We'll be in a league race. Someone will take the spot. So someone will be the starting right back, and it's how do you figure out who's that going to be? The
Mm-hmm.
only way to do it is to
Yeah.
run it and see how it plays out. But to me, it's like I was thinking in an ideal world, you bring in a Ragnar Klavan, a right back. You know what I mean? Just a real,
Mm-hmm.
he's obviously the backup dude.
Mm-hmm.
International, older, loads of experience. A younger guy, I wasn't so much on that. But what we gone and done is we brought in direct competition. No,
Mm-hmm.
direct competition. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Frimpong takes the spot. I wouldn't be surprised because some of the reasons we brought him in might be tactical
Mm-hmm.
and he can do things that Bradley isn't going to do. So, yeah, I think Bradley might have been given this bonus contract, but now he's gone back to from being Trent's backup to being Frimpong's backup. I could be wrong, but I think Frimpong might come in and take that starting spot.
Let Tekken decide. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Well, he has gotten a considerable pay raise. He's gotten it's been reported that he's getting a pay raise from $10,000 to $75,000 a week.
Oh, that's a bump and a half. That is
It's a
a
bump.
bump and a half.
It's certainly on line with what obviously your expected starters are making these days, and he is getting it.
Good reward. Good reward.
Yeah. Certainly a commitment. And it is also Frimpong is set for a medical. We did this. We're going to speak more on that as well, but I did see about he's set
I
for a
don't know where
medical.
Lee is. Lee was on my show. Sorry, I let it overrun. I meant to end it before yours started, but I hadn't realized yours had started. But Lee was in there.
It didn't matter. I was on mute anyway, so.
Yeah, I thought he was coming over. I thought Lee was coming over, but I sent Bernie.
He probably doesn't see the link or something. Silly.
Yeah, I sent Bernie the link. I'll send it. I'll put it back in the thing. I assumed he was coming over because he disappeared before it even ended.
Yeah, I have the Frimpong stuff. I have is later on in the show, so we'll speak on Frimpong in a few moments. It is a unique deal that we're going to see him be agreed to. This is being reported in the New York Times. They had this. I saw this report being announced, so that's pretty via the Athletic. So it looks like it is a pretty much set deal that the Dutch midfielder is going to be speaking. Is going to be speaking Scouse. He's already gotten a little bit of practice in, so it'll be a natural progression for him to get all of the lingo down. But I did want to speak to one other thing before we got into the Frimpong situation, and that is yeah. Now to a name that keeps popping up on the radar, or at least on the rumor tabloid style papers, and that is Luis Diaz has seen Barcelona make him their
fresh links, as I like to say, fresh links.
Yeah, Barcelona have made him their top target transfer. Let's be honest, Diaz has turned doubters into believers, I believe, this season. I'm hoping he has. I know that there were a lot of doubters the year previous to this, and it just continued to escalate and escalate. But this is one of his best years he's performed as a Liverpool player. So he's got 17 goals, versatility. He's got flair. He's got creativity in him. He's become I would arguably say he's become our second best attacker behind Salah. There's people that could say different. Maybe they want to speak on the eye test and all these other different little things that they're gonna reach for. But there is one thing that we can all agree on, and if we're doing it by statistics, he is the second best attacking forward or attacking player on our team. And while talks are set to begin over a new contract, Barcelona are circling. Diaz himself said this, though, and this is something that I liked and was very appreciative to hear from him, and that is, this is his words. For me, I'd stay however many years it takes. I'm happy and enjoying the Premier League. The question then gets, so why sell him unless they drop a ridiculous bid, which I don't think Barcelona is going to do. It makes no sense in parting ways with Diaz. Get a deal done, figure out something that makes him happy, so it doesn't become a distraction later on in the year. And if Barcelona do want Diaz, hey, Don't call me Jerry Maguire, but show me the money. You know, they better bring a La Liga size cash briefcase if they're looking to get Diaz as an actual player for them for their likes. I'll ask this to the panel. Ask this to the chat, and I'd love to hear what the chat has to say about this in particular. But is Diaz undervalued by fans, or would you cash in? And now I'll say not or, because I know if there's no or in this one, because you would. But is Diaz undervalued by fans? And would you cash in if Barcelona offer 80 million quid? Brian?
Oh, I just thought you were asking the chat. Sorry.
I am asking the chat, but I'll ask you.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought it was just a chat question. Is he undervalued? But if 80 million for Diaz, Jesus.
He's valued at 75. His current market value is 75 million.
Yeah.
I think actually his current market value is going up, to tell you the truth. If you go to yeah. Let me see. If you go to yep, his market value currently is anywhere from 87 million to 92 million euros. So that's the estimate is at 87. That's like the median score for the estimates.
Yeah. If someone came in and gave us 80 million for him, of course you'd sell him. Of course you would. 28 nearly. You can definitely reinvest that money. Is he undervalued by Liverpool fans? I don't know. Look, he's had a good two. He's had two. I can think of three kind of purple patch times where he's had. Yeah, he's come in with the numbers this year. But at 80 million quid, yeah, I think you could definitely do something with that money. He's not 24 now, so I can't see Barca coming in with that kind of price, but you'd be silly to turn that down for a player at his stage in his career. So if it was 50 million, probably not. Rather keep him than try and sell him for 50 and try and replace him. But at 80 million, yeah, that would be a bit of a deal breaker probably. But apparently, I've seen the story. Apparently, Barca have identified him as a main target. Blah blah blah. So if that's what they want to do, well, get your money out and let us know. Don't dance around all summer releasing stories. If you've got a bid, if you have a price in mind, let us know and we'll tell you what the story is. But yeah, last thing we need is this. This going on for how would you replace Diaz even if you got 80 million? If you don't think our scouting department and all that couldn't replace somebody for 80 million quid, well, yeah, that's another story. I'm pretty sure they can go out there and find some places or find some players. But yeah, also that if they've got Rafinha that plays in Diaz position, so I don't understand it. It's not like they're exactly stuck for a left winger that they need to go out and spend 60 million quid on Diaz for. So
very interesting. I was just saying I didn't know that apparently Lucho has a brother. I didn't know that. Did not know that. I'm not certain that that's his parent. Jesus Diaz is his brother. He plays back in South America. But Okay. All right. Diaz for 80 million. Who is his replacement? How would you replace Diaz, Brian, even if you got 80 million?
That's what I'm saying.
I like Diaz. I want him to stay, but 80 million is big money for him. Would have to take an offer of 80 and invest it in a younger player. Max certainly rates Lucho. I know that. Diaz is at the moment the world's second most valued left winger. Yep, yep. That is very true. So I see a lot of people saying they would cash in now if that right price came across the board.
Yeah, you were talking about 80. Like 80 is like that turns
That's
your head, man.
that's
Turns your head.
market value though.
No, but I'm just saying, if someone came in, I said, don't come in trying to get him for 35, 40 or anything. But if someone come in and said 80 million quid, you go, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yep.
Coutinho, that changes your ability to do a lot of things right there.
Yeah. He is
I
underpaid.
back the
He
club.
is
That's the thing.
certainly.
I've always backed this club to spend well. I don't like we're not Tottenham. You know, well,
Right.
yeah, the Suarez thing we did kind of mess that up a little bit, but recently, you gave us that kind of money. I would trust us to be able to do something.
Well, then, speaking of deals for South American players, there is another headline out there that is probably got K-Mac salivating at the mouth there, but Darwin Nunez could be a part of a swap deal for Victor Osimhen, is being reported. Napoli are hot for Nunez as well. Liverpool, meanwhile, are eager to move on and bring in a more clinical number 9, possibly. It should be interesting what the answer is going to be. Napoli originally wanted over £100 million for Osimhen, but that's come down. If Darwin goes the other way, maybe we get Osimhen for a lot less. Is Osimhen the answer though? I don't necessarily think that he is a there's other players. I would sooner there's other players. One of which I spoke on yesterday. I mentioned the other my top choice. I've spoken on even before he was even really the one of those like it players for us. But his question is Osimhen the answer? Is he worth giving up 100 million, 90 million, whatever it might be, 85 million? It's probably going to be whatever the number is going to be. It's most likely going to be right around the same amount of money that we paid for Darwin. Would you do a? Sir? I know you would do a swap deal for Nunez for Osimhen. But the bigger question is, would Victor Osimhen fit Arne Slot's system better than Darwin Nunez? And I don't think there's a guarantee to that, by the way. I don't really think it's a guarantee. I think it's unfortunate. I think that I think
Well, no, you're
Arnie's
saying
give.
I wouldn't do that swap because I think you're swapping a better version of Darwin, or you're swapping Darwin for a better version of Darwin, and uh, we want a Jota type player, we want a Firmino type player, a false 9 type player. Osman's an out and out number 9, so I wouldn't swap one for another. And also, like Fabrizio Romano, when he repeats things every single week and he makes a point of repeating them and always says, remember I said this, remember I said this, it's because he knows something to be a fact. And he said every single time he ever talks about Osimhen, he said, it's not about the club, it's not about the transfer, it's about wages. He said, Victor Osimhen has an incredibly high wage and he is not prepared to reduce that wage. And that is the reason why he hasn't joined about 5 football clubs, is because he's not prepared to
I,
reduce his
I,
wages.
I've
And that's
said
not
that.
going to
Yeah,
change. And we're not going
I've,
to go looking for him and pay
right. I've
him
said that.
basically 400 grand a week is what he
Yep.
wants.
Mhm.
And that's Romano has always said he could have gone here, he could have gone here. He said, I'll say it now and I'll say it till the end of this channel. It's about the wages, and that's the sticking point. And like it's why would you bring in again about Darwin working in this system? Klopp's 2 years under Klopp, the whole lot, time for a change. But yeah, I'm not bringing in another running in number nine. So that's why we were talking about last night. I'd bring in Wirtz and play him in his false nine position. So yeah, I don't want to go out and get an Osimhen. Big wages, big transfer fee. Not that I think the release clause for him now is 72 million, if I remember correctly. That's what it is. So that's a huge fee, 400 grand a week. No,
That's up. That's
no
why,
chance.
like, when people
Absolutely no chance whatsoever.
sometimes when people talk about, oh well, you know, they talk about the net spends and the likes, and it is an easy way to go about trying to figure out what net spends are. But why net spend? There's other factors about net spend that don't always get factored in. You got to add in agent fees. You got to add in the cost of what he's going to make on his wages. A lot of that is all like imperative to figuring out what is the bottom line for the player, what you're going to be shelling out for the player, what you can recoup back, whether it's through the player's rights and everything else, image rights and such. But still, there's a lot
Yeah,
that gets
football related expenditure, they call it.
Yeah.
It's football related expenditure. It's like, let's just say you're allowed to spend 300 million this season, us on PSR, right? We could spend 1 billion, right? But if 700 million of that is on improving the stadium, improving facilities, that wouldn't count under PSR. But like you were saying, every single bit of wages, even the cost of agents getting taxis and hotels, anything to do with transfer deals, it's not just people just look at like, oh, we spent 40 million on this guy, so that 60 plus 50. No, it all comes like the wages come out of it, agents fees, like you said, it's much more than just transfer fees. Like you put someone on 400 grand a week, that could be the difference between signing a player and not signing a player, another player.
I'm looking up. I saw Scottish Bear said that he's making 193,000 euros a week. There is a number as to what he wants to make.
Osimhen,
Yeah.
the story. Yeah, he wants 200k net. He wants to take home 200k. So in England, that's 400k.
What is? I don't know what. I'm trying to figure out what that is. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
find
he's
out.
basically, if you round it up and round it down for the ease of conversation, he's making 200 grand a week after tax. He wants 200 grand a week after tax. In
It
England,
says
tax is
insider
basically
Ben
50%.
Jacobs.
He wants 400k.
It says insider Ben Jacobs reports that the Nigerian striker is demanding 250,000 per week, roughly. I don't know what that currency. I think that's Nigerian money, actually. I don't know what the Nigerian currency is,
They use
but
the pound. They use the pound in Nigeria.
oh, maybe it's not Nigerian then. It's like a N with a line in the middle. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. But let me see what that is. No, well, they might use the pound, but they have an actual currency. It's called the Nigerian Naira, Naira. I don't know what that.
but basically the guy wants 200K a week after tax.
He wants
That's
250.
what
He
Romano
wants
keeps saying.
250.
That's why all these English clubs have been like, you want how much? No, we're not paying that. And that's why it's always stuck on him. He said he's not going to England. He said he would have been at Chelsea. Even Chelsea said, no, we're not paying you that much. So I don't see us doing it, especially not for someone who doesn't fit the bill stylistically. But he ain't going to be a Gala.
Gala made a offer to him. They have made an offer to him.
Yeah, he's going to go somewhere. He's going to go somewhere and he's going to score a lot of goals, but it just won't be at Liverpool. That's the way I look at it. Hopefully it's not. Like, Arsenal should just buy him. If Arsenal are serious and they want the proper 9, just go and buy him. But
well, let's go and move on to a team that most of us should feel a little bit of contempt for. It's the reason why sometimes when I hear people say they covet 2 teams and that second team is like Barcelona or maybe even Real Madrid, I just shake my head and say, why? All the same. Real Madrid is on the prowl once again. Now let's talk about these circling sharks, and that is Real Madrid have already taken Trent Alexander-Arnold from our roster, and now they want more. They've agreed to a £50 million deal for Dean Huijsen, who was a very coveted prospect for us. Next up, you might want to cover your ears for some of us. Alexi Mac Allister. It is reported that Xabi Alonso wants him to replace Luka Modric and sees Alexi as the heir to that position. Xabi Alonso is super, super interested in trying to make this happen. Liverpool have zero plans to sell, obviously. He's contracted until 2028. He's obviously got even incredible ceiling because I don't think he's met that ceiling just yet. He's one of our most consistent players this season. Alexi's dad said it best. He's happy. He wants to be a champion. He has no reason to leave. And for once, I believe every word of what you're hearing from the camps of a player. Maybe that's just my heart making me want to believe more than my head, but it is something that I am happy to hear. But is there a price that makes that untouchable go to, okay, let's have a seat and talk? Is there a price for Mac Allister that Real Madrid would have to come to the table with and say, this is what we're thinking, this is what we're looking at? What would be the number? Or is he just untouchable? Is he just untouchable? I'm asking you, Bri. Yeah.
Oh.
Says at least 100
by
million.
Mac. Take Mac to come in this summer.
Yeah.
This summer to come and take Mac this summer. 120.
120. Okay.
Yeah, if they came in and started doing stupid nonsense, like, at 80 is an enormous fee. Like same with Diaz, but he's like say getting on in years.
That's where I was going. That's where I was going to start. I mean, he's only Mac's only like 2 years.
That's the thing with Mac. I'd still turn down 80 because no, it's not worth us selling him for that because it would eat up most of it. He's just settling the team.
Mm-hmm.
But if they start getting stupid with like 120 type numbers, then yeah, probably somewhere around that.
Okay. I see 120 from Brian. I saw 140 from Alexander. I saw 100 would be the starting spot for Bonkers if we're going to start talking.
Record fee type stuff. Record fee
What
type
did we
shit.
get for Coutinho? 120 something, 121 million or something.
Well, that's the thing. It was 100 to 140.
That's with all the
Uh,
incentives and stuff.
there was a big lump of it that was all about back ending and stuff, and it was always argued about how much we actually got for him.
Mm-hmm.
But it was probably about 115, 120. But the
Mm-hmm.
max could have owed us was something like 142 million, but they didn't even pay him that much, and they didn't win anything, so that was all the bonus stuff. So there was always that thing that we were owed money by them, but I think we got around 105 million or something, and the most they could have owed us is 142. But I think we got an
Okay.
extra
Well,
10 million out of it.
so let's just say the base deal was like about 120 or something like that. Let's say, right?
Yeah, I'd say that's around what we made out.
And I think we did. I don't know if they even. I think we almost had to call the creditors on them because they were broke and weren't able to pay it. But 120. So 100 million. I saw 110, or excuse me, I saw 120. I saw 150. Abdul says 125, 140. Okay. If Maka goes, what would you pay? What would you bring back with that 140? Let's say he goes for 140. Are you going out and getting 3 players, or are you going out and getting that one big player, like, you take the 140 and flip it into Isak or something, or get everyone a name that everyone keeps wanting to bring up.
Oh no, I just mean, yeah, when they came to the table, yeah, without even thinking about that bit, that'd be the kind of money that you'd be like, okay, right, we'll do the deal, and then yeah, that could be a Florian Wirtz money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Isaac Alvarez, or do you want to even do like what we did with Coutinho? We got in over 100 million quid for him, and we spent it on a defender and a goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it could have. I don't think it'd be a like for like kind of scenario, but yeah, it'd be a massive blow to lose him as a player. But just at that kind of price, it's like, okay, we can rebuild the squad here and do what we did in that and hope it works out. But not the guy that I want to have to make that decision about. Definitely not. Not the guy that I want to be
Tough
like,
one.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I
It'll
don't
be
want
a
to hear
tough
it. Like,
one. Be a tough one to make,
yeah,
or especially if someone knows that they have to spend that kind of money,
he
and
suits us,
because
man.
they
He
knew that
suits us.
despite the fact that Coutinho, we all knew that Coutinho wanted to leave.
Yeah, I
Barcelona
don't get that
still
vibe from Mac Allister. I don't get
Oh
that.
no, I'm not saying that, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying just
yeah,
because
no, that's
like
what
he
I'm
wanted
agreeing
to
with you. I don't get
leave,
that kind of vibe from him.
and Barcelona still had to pay heavily. So I mean, 140, 150, whatever the number might end up finaling out on, that would be ideally the price we would get, or be looking to get. And I don't know if we would sell for anything less than 120. And
No,
that
there'd be
shows
no
you,
point. There'd be no
yeah.
point, man. You just end up spending the same money to get a player that you have to reintegrate. Like Mac loves it here. You can tell
Mm-hmm.
the fans love him. So you're gonna have to like take an 80 million pound punt on another guy to come in and fit in as well as he has with all the experience he had at Brighton. No, you basically you wouldn't gain. You wouldn't gain at 80. At 120, it's like, okay, right now that means we can do this and that, and eventually, but either there, I'd rather even sell a fucking Sabozlai for 90 million than sell a
Well,
McAllister.
that's not happening. But yeah,
No,
I
but
hear
you know
you.
what I mean. Like Sabozlai to me would be a lot more replaceable than a
Mm-hmm.
McAllister would. McAllister is just such a part of our team now. I don't
Mm-hmm.
see like it's just what you were saying there, and I didn't even really think about that. Always these boys, Real Madrid, Barcelona, dream club. I can see Mac Allister saying no. I don't see Mac Allister with that kind of one eye on Madrid in his future. one eye on Barcelona. I think he might be actually one of those rare kind of exceptions, like because his family is Irish, his ancestry is Irish. He's he might actually see himself rather become a Liverpool legend than a Barcelona legend. I think he looks really settled here and he fits our system. We love the way he plays. The fans love the way he plays.
Right.
And he seems so. I can see him going, no, I want to stay here to like do what Virgil did here, be like what Mo did here, win titles here. I don't see him as like having like one eye on getting to Madrid in the future. I hope I'm not proven wrong, but like we always kind of knew Coutinho might or Chris. Everyone at Man United knew Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to go to Madrid, that kind of thing. But I think I can see Mac Allister wanting to kind of be a Liverpool legend as opposed to a Barcelona legend or Madrid legend.
Can we, before I get into the next topic, I saw Mark A, big up Mark A in the house. And shout out to Crystal Palace. Well done, by the way. Well done today.
Brilliant.
Holding off a overly confident Manchester City. We spoke to a lot of the different fans or a lot of different content creators out there. They pretty much all had it being in the bag, basically. They're the former treble winners that have now gone from winning a treble to winning squadouche. The same amount of trophies that they had goals today, and that is 0. Wow. So it looks like Crystal Palace is going to Europe, by the way. It looks like Crystal Palace will be going to Europe. They will be, by winning the FA Cup, they get a berth into the Europa League. So that is something that is a big accomplishment for Crystal Palace because it's been a while since they've been in Europe. Let's be honest with you. It's been a long while since they've been in Europe. Yep, Crystal Palace in FA Cup, Newcastle with the League Cup. Wild settings. Would you have ever thought that?
Well, that's your Charity Shield next year. Charity Shield next year, Liverpool v Palace.
Yeah.
That's also the result of that game. So we'll be playing them in Charity Shield. Nice and old school. It makes a difference. I was saying that to the earlier on. These Charity Shields now, it's always City, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, City. It's always just like the same club. So it would be good to have like, they're the biggest small club. They're a big small club. We were talking about. He was saying it's nice to see a bit of romance back in the cup, like a small team winning it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at Palace's wage budget compared to like most teams, they're by most metrics a big club. But in the way people look at things, they're a small club. But that's about as small a team as could win an FA Cup. A Colchester isn't going to win it. A Sheffield United isn't going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
But if a small team was going to win it, it was still going to be like one of the smaller teams in the Premier League. And teams in the Premier League have more money than freaking Roma and Valencia and huge teams like that. So it's all kind of relative, but there's still, like I was saying earlier on, I had sometimes like you'll be watching a cup final and someone would be like, "Oh, who do you want to win?" And you'd be like, "Well, I'm gonna say I want this team to win because I really hate the other team, but I don't like this team." People say, "Oh, so you're a fan of them for the day?" Like say, "Oh, so you're gonna be United fans for the day?" It's like, no, it's not about that. But with this one today, you could just straight up support Palace. There's no reason to dislike them. Yeah, there's no reason to dislike them. And obviously you want City to lose. So it wasn't just wanting City to lose. You could say, I can fully be on Palace today. And you didn't have to say, yeah, it's Man United, or it's this, but it's like, no, Palace, cool. Go ahead, win something. Never won anything, ever. ever.
And not only that, not only
119
that,
years. Nothing. Fair play to
not
them.
only,
Delighted for them.
not only is it their first title, but it is it's interesting. Crystal Palace has just as Mark A was saying, Palace have also heavily invested in their academy, state-of-the-art facilities. Yeah, that's what happens. Sometimes you got to give credit where credit's due. Their American owner has definitely put some real investment in the club and continues to do so. Josh Harris, who is the general partner of Crystal Palace. He also owns the American football team, the Commanders, here in America, which is a rival of my American football team. So, there is a unique thing about this, though, and that is bravo to Crystal Palace, but can we at least, kind of like laugh and enjoy that which is the pain that Crystal Palace and the likes of Big Steve and all those guys, LB, the likes of what they must be going through. And that is being on an absolute high, thinking that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread with your treble win, which was an absolute accomplishment, by the way. Absolute brilliant accomplishment. But it is so low to find yourself with no trophies in the cupboard. And not only that, to have lost to a Crystal Palace today, it was the first time they've ever won the FA Cup, over a century of winning anything. It is something. It is something. Mark A is saying, look out for the 17-year-old Manchester City attacking midfielder, Divine Mukasa. Okay. I'll keep an eye out on him. Long may it continue. Dustin, definitely agree with that. Is Gahey a good punt to get if Konate goes? That's a shout. I'm not too sold on Gahey, to be honest with you, as being a real focal point in center halves. He's not saying he's bad, just saying that that's not the center half I would put the investment that Palace is looking to get back for him. I don't think I would spend that kind of money if I was a sporting director. Kevin's saying City spent $200 million in January and no trophy. It just goes to show you that it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's about the players you have and the continuity and the ability to for them to play as a team and get over the line. That was not the case this year. But the only thing holding their heads up right now is a man known by three initials, KDB, I think, is one of the major reasons why they are even remotely still involved in getting top five. Okay. Abdul watching a little boxing. Yeah. And Hamza. Where are you at, Hamza? Where are you at, Vader? Vader Games. Where are you at? These are all City, City content creators. It's just like there's the other guy. There's LB. There's Big Steve. There's Hamza. I think of the other. There's another guy. He does in Manchester City. Very, very vocal in his support of the club. He's also someone that I do honestly believe he wasn't like some of the City content creators out there that all of a sudden deem baby blue or powder blue, however you want to call it, nowadays, but probably didn't 10, 15 years ago. Probably didn't. But shout out to all of them. Enjoy what you end up getting. And I hope there's more surprises for you, to be honest with you. I hope there's some judicial surprises. Oh, Daps. Can't forget Daps. My apologies, Daps. No, that was not on purpose. He has a good channel. And he hosts it with his city rival, Red Devil, on that channel. So may both of them get squadouche this season. May both of them get squadouche. Now Spurs have to do their thing. But let's move on to Bayern Leverkusen, the club where I think the club that we are trying to do what Real Madrid is doing to us. And we're going to get Jeremy Frimpong. We're going to apparently activate his 35 million euro release deal. It's apparently almost done, if not already done. I did see that we're expecting him to just come in for his medical. He's agreed to terms. He's expected to sign as early as next week. They're saying, what a signing. He has pace. He has intensity. Can play right back. Can play right wing back. Can play winger, right wing. But he's not alone. Frimpong has agreed to a 5-year. This is being reported by the New York Times, or at least by the Athletic via the New York Times via the Athletic. Frimpong has agreed to a 5-year contract, and the Anfield club will activate his release clause, which is worth in the region of 35 million euros or 29.6 million pounds, or for us on this side of the pond, $39.3 million. The Athletic reported on Thursday that Liverpool were advancing in talks to sign the 24-year-old, who has emerged as one of Europe's most coveted right backs. It's an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. Liverpool also reportedly, and this is why I said we're on some Real Madrid settings, Liverpool also reportedly held a secret meeting. And this is what I'm saying, why we're on some Real Madrid terms. We held a secret meeting, it's being reported, with Florian Wirtz's camp. It's not that secret if you find out about it, I guess. But Falk says it happened in Blackpool. So we apparently held a meeting in Blackpool, England. And Joyce says Liverpool are preparing a absolute pitch for the player. Ben Jacobs has denied it, but Paul Joyce has said that we are in the midst of preparing a pitch for Florian Wirtz. What we do know is this: Florian Wirtz is absolutely electric. 57 goals, 65 assists, 22 years old. So he's definitely he's out of that wonder kid status since he's 22 years old now, but he's certainly a wonder in itself. If he chooses the Premier League, I believe we're the best mixture for him. I think we offer him everything that he would be looking to establish. And it's something of a no-brainer to me. I think 126 million though is a lot of money. A lot of money. I'm gonna ask you this, Brian. Could Florian Wirtz become the centerpiece of Liverpool's next great team? And would you break the bank for him?
Yes, and yes. Yeah, 100% on both. He is literally, like you're saying, a centerpiece. He right there in the middle of everything, on the pitch, in the middle. Creativity, goals, no guarantees, but yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing you need to be doing. He would be he would be the next generation. He would be one of Europe's most coveted footballers. Joining a team like ours, showing the world that we mean business.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that does become your centerpiece. That becomes a message to the rest of the people out there in football and other players that we're a serious club. We're not resting on our laurels. You know, if you can replace basically, if you're playing him in the false nine, you're talking about replacing basically Diogo Jota this year with him. That would be one of the biggest upgrades in world football history.
I see Kevin saying a swap deal for Kelleher. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe if
she's
we
on
said,
one of our
yeah,
top
that, I
midfield.
mean,
Sorry
if
if you hear that.
I wouldn't mind sending
Okay.
Kelleher
Okay.
to a team that we're not going to probably end up seeing 2 times a year. He would do well in Leverkusen, I believe. Would Leverkusen spend that kind of money for Kelleher, or the money that I would expect to get in return? That's the bigger question, I think. I don't think that we would see Leverkusen spend that kind of money. But everyone's saying, Bonkers is saying yes, no brainer. Mark is saying yes, please. Bernie, big up Bernie. Good to see you. Bernie is saying yes, definitely. Hylor is saying it's the only way for Liverpool to get Wirtz to pay over the odds.
I think you're paying the odds. I don't think you're paying over the odds. I think you're paying the odds. Well, like this is what footballers cost now when they're, like you said, not quite wonder kid anymore, but yeah, what wonder player almost. You know, just elite attacking. I mean, it's going to be the going rate, really.
I'm going to ask Dustin to enlighten us as to why he's the only person so far that said no, and he said no, and it's not because of the money. So
Money.
he would spend 120. He doesn't have a problem spending 126 million pounds. That's incredible. That would be a record. That would be a Premier League record signing. But as our record signing, it would definitely outpace that. I don't. I don't think we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to spend money. I definitely know that. I know that Bayern Munich can spend money. I know that obviously Manchester City can spend money if they want to go in heavily for this player. I don't think that Manchester City are going to spend 110, 120 million. Considering they spent 200 million in January window, then they would have to have a lot of sales and a lot of balancing the books to get him, I think, through the door personally. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have definitely happened. Well, we spoke on.
Yeah, but no, but you just quickly, like you said, if in a perfect world, if there was no PSR, FFP, Man City would just go and spend 200 million on him and just go and take him. You know they would.
Yeah.
They would 100% take the guy, but it's just like, would they have to? Are we in a position now where the cards are going to fall our way, where Madrid could go and do it, City could go and do it, but right now they don't need to go and do it. So if we can convince him to not do the Bayern thing, could we get him here? Is the timing just right for us? Hopefully it is. I still think it's a shot in the dark. But at least I think I think we're the pole position club. After, if he does leave Germany, make us that pole position. I think that's where we're situated at the moment. But you can't let it drag on.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to do.
But I saw a story today, 12. I saw a story today that was like basically saying, and it makes sense, that a couple of clubs have said, look, there's a 2 week window. It's not like we want you to make your decision now, but we need an answer in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, because it was like
we got
with
to
the
make
Dean
other
Heisen
moves.
thing.
Yeah,
we got to move. Like with the Dean Heisen thing, Arsenal and Chelsea were still fighting with Real Madrid until the final minutes, basically, apparently. Whereas we were in for Heisen right at the start, And then as soon as we found out that his preference was for Real Madrid, we walked away.
Mm-hmm.
But Chelsea and Arsenal tried to stay in there at the end. So that's what we need to do. It's like if you're up for it, you're going to do it. Let us know now, or else
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to wait until you know deadline day, still trying to make a deal happen, and you go to Bayern,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then we're stuck scrambling to try to figure out who's our backup or who's
Yeah, and you
who's
get
going to be that.
nothing
Yeah.
basically, or you waste a few quid on somebody who never plays, or what you just
Right.
you know,
You take a roll
it's
on
like
a
get it
player like
done
Enzo
early.
or something. Right.
Well, no,
Which
just
worked
get
out
it
for us.
done early so it's like you can move on to a proper target. You can spend some time on that. But yeah, just it's been demanding. I know it's very easy to say these things than to make them happen.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you need like the the direction needs to be there for like, look, we don't want a summer long will they, won't they saga. We're here if you want to join us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk. If not, we'll move on.
Um, I don't know. I think Wharton's price is like 65 million. Let's see.
Yeah, he'd cost you about that. Definitely 60. Forget all that 100 million talk. That's paper talk. But yeah, he would definitely cost you
They
60.
have
But
Crystal Palace have put £100 million valuation on him. I
oh
don't
yeah, but I mean, you'd buy him.
that's
You'd buy
just
him for 60 million.
that's
Yeah,
right, right,
you put 60 million on the table at Palace. They're like, okay, cool, yeah, nice,
right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, there's we're on the verge of getting Frimpong through the door. We're trying to get him to get his medicals so we can make him our first signing of the summer. But Frimpong must be signing number one, obviously. Then, excuse me, that moves us on to signing number two, and that could be Milos Kerkez. That's who I'm looking at as being our second signing that we get through the door. I know a lot of the reports or a lot of the headlines have definitely focused more on Trent and his replacement. They focus in on some of the bigger names when it comes to the strikers that are being offered out there. But that's going back to what we've been saying for quite some time, is that Kirkhez is probably our best or our most. I wouldn't call it our most ideal signing, to be honest with you. He's not my top choice. Um, I know some might think that it is a matter of bias, but I think that this player Robinson has had possibly the best year of his Premier League career this past season. I think he's a dynamic player. I think that he's definitely a player that is physical, brings the ability to play defense, definitely defensive minded, has brought into his game crossing, being able to cross the ball. He's definitely a total package. Um, he's the total package when it comes to left backs, because he has also even enhanced his assist ability. He's gotten this is like I think a record year for him in his assist tally. But Milos Kerkez isn't necessarily chopped liver or anything like that. He's definitely a very, very good player. The Bournemouth left back is seen as a long-term replacement for Robertson, who is definitely made it known he is going to fight for his place on this team. A 45 million pound deal is nearly ready, it's being said. He's been tracked by Liverpool since September. Plan is clear. We're going youth, pace, and versatility as our emphasis of focus when it comes to our left, our right back, when it comes to our fullbacks. Let's just say that. I know that Abdul just asked about Adam Wharton. I know he's also on the radar. I know that there was scouts at the FA Cup final for us that were watching him particularly. And I know that there is some interest in the Brazilian striker actually as well as I think João Pedro is Ecuadorian, I would say. As well as João Pedro has still been a name that's been kind of circulating as to who we're going to be bringing in. But I'm going to ask this real quick. And you have to answer one of the answers. You can't say part this, part that. You have to say one or the other. All right. I'm going to put this poll in here. All right. Let me make sure that I give you some selections. Here is my poll for the audience. Or poll, it's just a poll question, not panel question. But which area do Liverpool need to strengthen most this summer? Fullbacks, midfield, striker, or is it just in general playmaker? As in, do we need to bring in that number, that 10? Rasta Crab is going undoubtedly C. He's going with striker. What would you go with, Brian? Kevin's going A. Bernie is going C for striker. Okay. Philip is going C. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. You know what's wild about it is I would go with, if I was going to, I would say probably A for me too, Kevin. If I was probably forced to answer the question myself. Rasta Crab saying, what's the point of a playmaker if you got nobody to finish it? I mean, you have dynamic wingers. Dara's being a Grinch. We got you. We got you. He doesn't do polls. Abdul is saying we need a left back, right back, center back, CDM, a number 10, and a number 9. It's a lot of positions, 6 positions right there. Trap Joe, big up Trap Joe. In the area is saying B, midfield. Okay. Tyler saying striker position and left back are our weakest positions at the moment. I was going to say, what's the point of a playmaker if you got nobody to finish it? I don't know. I would like to see this team with a playmaker. I don't know if a playmaker is. I don't know if the playmaker is our most biggest, or is one of our biggest needs at the moment. If a playmaker like a Florian Wirtz or maybe even a KDB happen to say, hey, I want to bring my services to Liverpool, hey, that's something that you definitely hop on. But I put most likely, I think with the departure of Trent Alexander-Arnold, this is all due respect to Conor Bradley, it's just because of his availability. But with the departure of Trent Alexander-Arnold and now his deputy needing his own deputy, and with the inconsistency that we've got down to the left back role this year, I'm not saying that they've been pants all year, but they definitely have had some poor moments throughout the year. I would say that fullback is our most biggest need to strengthen, and I think that's the reason why you're probably seeing the right back in Conor Bradley getting signed to a new deal. Why we're about to bring in Frimpong. Why the next likely name to get signed is Kerkez. I think even Liverpool and the backroom staff see our fullbacks are a key area of where we need to go into that route. We've had one, if you want to say Coutinho was a playmaker for us, I believe. Suarez was a hybrid of a playmaker for us. He was dynamic where he could be, obviously a clinical finisher for himself, but for our team at least, but he could also create for Sturridge or whoever was on the end of a lot of those passes. You could even go as far as to say, you want to go further back, you could say Steven Gerrard, when he was pushed forward, was a creator for us. Xabi Alonso was a creator for us. We've had some creators in our midst. I don't know. I think there's been quite a few names out there that have been creators. Thiago was a creator. I mean, how many more do you want me to? Normally with Klopp, it's been all about the engine, but there's a primary reason why Thiago was pursued as being a massive upgrade to our team if we were able to bring in a player of his levels. So, spoke on Milos Kerkez. I spoke on Wharton. There's more targets obviously out there. I'll ask Brian this question. Which under-the-radar players should Liverpool prioritize after Frimpong? And maybe even after Florian Wirtz? I think.
Sorry, what do you mean? Which under the radar?
Mm-hmm. Player under the radar, meaning like he's not someone that is being, pushed as, oh, we're going for Kerkez isn't under the radar. Even a Wharton isn't under the radar. Those are players that are, blipping up on our radar as potential targets. But is there someone out there that, is someone that you think that should be given a good look?
Oh, like someone that isn't like in the headlines. Yeah, because I was going to say Wharton when you said that. I said, okay. Someone that isn't being kind of talked about that I think we should go and get.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question actually.
I mean, I would like to see us go for Robinson, for instance. But he's not.
Well, but even I consider him being. Yeah, if you said to me, no, like if Wharton doesn't count, like to me, I've seen it all been like a lot of talk about Robinson and Kerkez and all that. And I was trying to think, you're saying like someone. I would say
maybe even Eze. Eze's a good shout, by the way.
Well, he's someone I've been talking about for a while now. I think I'd like to see us have a go with him, but
Crab is saying Mateta.
Sure.
Mateta would be a good player off the bench. Mateta. Oh my gosh, Crab. The streets. What are the streets doing? Mateta, really? You want a playmaker, Dara? Go with Bobby Firmino. He's recent. That was our playmaker. He was certainly a playmaker for us. He looked to play. He looked to facilitate and create more than he did score for us. And there's a reason why so many players like Mane and Salah thrived with a player like Bobby in the middle. So if you want a creator, that was a creator for us.
Well, you want a recent playmaker? Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Trent Alexander-Arnold is an absolute playmaker.
There you Absolutely. Go. There is one.
Absolutely. Some could argue that Virgil van Dijk might be at times. The way he does those diagonals and opens up so much of the pitch for Salah and our team. But Streets is saying would take Mateta over the lap. Really?
They've got a great. I was saying something earlier on. If you take the usual suspects, big teams, blah blah blah, out of it, Mateta, Munoz, Eze, the guy Richards at centre half.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some like they have this. They've got this whole little mini team this season going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Mateta's best season ever. He's been sensational. Eze, brilliant. Munoz has been incredible. Great game against today. Richards, Gay, all these guys, they've been absolutely brilliant. It's like they totally deserve to win that today. Because that'll be a story now around the world. Like if tomorrow morning the world woke up and go, Man City win the FA Cup, no one's going to care about that. But if someone sees Crystal Palace beat Man City FA Cup, that's a proper story again now. But I worry about that team. I don't think Eze can stay there another year. I think Mateta should, but Munoz 28, but Wharton, I wouldn't be at all against us signing him.
Mm-hmm.
Not for 100 million, but like I said, if it's like actually, yeah, they talk 100 million in the papers, but it turns out they'll take 55 million. I'd be like, okay, if they rate him that highly, then go and get him because he's a very highly rated player.
Mm-hmm.
But
I wish she was.
I don't know enough about him though. I couldn't like I'm not expert enough to say, oh Wharton, I can tell you this and this about him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
all I know is that people who I kind of trust have said he's an excellent player. That's about it. He's a deep line player. Is that what we want, what we need? Okay, if that's what the manager wants, if that's what the people think is a good player, then go and get him. Cool. Go make it happen. I'm willing to see him come and play.
Mm-hmm. Pick up. John Wick has just walked into the building. Kudus is Crab's suggestion. Mbuemo is a good shout. Mbuemo is a good shout. He's been on
Well,
the radar.
Kudus is Max's number one target, so you're in good company there with Max Rastakov. You and Max are on the same page.
Okay. Let's see if I can get what I wanted to see. Yeah, I wish we had gone for like a Jao Neves or something like that. Would have been nice, but I don't think that's going to happen now. Maybe even I personally, and M. Tarmizi can back me up on this. I would have liked to have seen us going for Lee Kang-in, actually. He's the South Korean player, winger, can play. He can play central, but he plays more on the wing than he does centrally. I think he would have been a good understudy.
He's available this summer, apparently.
Okay.
He's available. Apparently, he hasn't played much this year, so apparently, yeah, he's been linked with Napoli, I think it was, because they lost Kvaratskhelia, so apparently they've been looking at him as a replacement for him in the wide area. So it looks like he might be on the market this summer. So yeah, if you never know.
I know the Arsenal are looking at him. Still, Arsenal are looking at him. I think he's a good player. He's a very good player. Who is Max Rossley? He's a legend. Legend. We have huge expectations from our owners considering their history. Max is a massive fan of Diaz. Yes, he is. A lot of Max support out here. That's good. It's good to see amongst us as Reds. We have been linked to Pedro since he was at Watford. Yes, that's true. Definitely true.
Well, Max had his breakout moment the other night. You see,
Max Overdrive.
Maximum. Well, no, he they were all singing. I wasn't singing, but they were. they were singing little bits and pieces, and then all of a sudden Max just came out of nowhere and went full on Bohemian Rhapsody in his car, sang the whole
Really?
thing. Oh yeah, it was insane.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
I
it was
missed
out. It
that.
was
Oh, I'm gonna watch it on replay. That's worth it.
yeah, it was. I think Norm even said it. He left a. I can tell you now because he left a comment. I think it's 4 hours. It was a 5 hour stream, and it's like 4 hours and 35 minutes in. If you look at the stream and you look at the comments, yeah, we were all challenging Max to sing, and people were like singing bits and pieces, and I didn't really expect that. And then Max, he was looking at his phone, and obviously he'd been looking up the lyrics, and then out of nowhere, Max just started straight up belted into Bohemian Rhapsody and just went for it, did the whole thing. It was incredible. It was
Oh, that's
absolutely
awesome.
incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
If
fair
we
play to him. No, he gained
go
a lot of
in the
fans.
Asian
He
market,
gained a lot of fans.
get Kubo. That'd be a shout. I would love to see that. I would love to see Kubo be a player that we utilize. I think he's got some real creativity and some ability to utilize pace and the likes. He's young and he's definitely talented, and he's one of Asia's best, one of Japan's best. Be nice, very nice to see. Get him in. Um, who else? Who else? See if I was just seeing if anybody else. Maxi Mercury, yeah. Um, this is my final segment for tonight, and this was something that I really, really have been trying to push and champion, I guess you could call it. So one last bit of drama for us. Liverpool are furious with Real Madrid. At least I'm furious with Real Madrid in that they're always trying to get our players. Not just because of Trent. Now they want Ibu on it. They want Ibu to leave. Let me repeat what this is about to be. And if Ibu goes this route, you know, there will be heck to play. But apparently, they are pushing Ibu to ride out next year. Don't sign a deal. Don't sign an extension. Don't look to go to PSG as an alternative. No, leave on a free in 2026, and you have a place in our starting lineup. Possibly for Saliba, who knows? But you have a starting place with us. Madrid plan to wait him out like they did Trent. I don't know if what Liverpool's response is going to be. I hope it's bring me Rodrigo, bring me Arda Guler, and let's keep it moving. I'm hoping that we block Trent's early release for the Club World Cup and keep him until the end of June. I know that they're going to apparently try to make some type of a cheeky offer of like basically paying for his wages, which is about £1 million or something like that. This isn't just transfers. It seems to be chess in the essence. And Liverpool are playing for keeps, I hope, because enough is enough, if you ask me. I'll ask this of the audience, and then I'm gonna ask you a question individually, Brian. Let's put this in here for them.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Should Liverpool let Trent go early for the Club World Cup? They should say yes would be like do right by Trent, allow for him to go on to his team. He's made his choice. He's made his bed, allow for him to go and live his life. Or no, Real Madrid deserve no favors. They deserve no quarter. Kick rocks, Real Madrid. Kick rocks. I was going to ask you this too. Should Liverpool be doing more to lock down Konate now and avoid this possibility of leaving on a future free? This is for you, Brian. That question was for you.
Should we be doing more? I don't know. We can't put a metric on that. I reckon we've done everything. It's not like we should be doing more. We need, in terms of doing more, I said earlier on, this thing has 2 weeks now for me, Ibu. 2 weeks. You either sign or you go. That's it. I'm sure it's been said that we put plenty of, we have an offer on the table for him. He hasn't signed it yet. So you either tell us in the next 2 weeks whether you're going to stay and sign the deal that's on the table for you, um,
Or
or
we're
we're going to
actively
sell
looking.
you.
Or
Yeah, because we're not going to do what we did with everybody else. And it can't become all summer. So, Ibu, are you committed to staying at Liverpool Football Club? Because we made you an offer. And if that's not enough for you, well, then that's it. But we need an answer right away. I don't think that's unfair because we can't have our main centre back alongside Virgil as in this distracted process, looking next season where he's going to be. He's either committed to us or he's not. And if he's not, he goes. That's it. We're not going to do winding down his contract and he goes to Madrid on a free. Probably be PSG, actually. I'd see him going to on a free. But if he's not willing to sign a new deal, then sorry, we're going to put you on the market. We can't force you to leave. If we can put you on the market, if nobody offers you money for us, like if Real Madrid and PSG get in his ear and say, okay, they put you on the market, but don't sign for a new club. Just don't. Reject all offers, and next season we'll take you on a free. They can't force you to sign for another club. So now he holds all the cards. So this has to be sorted. To me, it's
I
the
don't think.
most
Yeah,
important thing now.
there's
It's the
no
most
there's
important deal
no
we have to be done now.
there's no doing what we did with Trent, which is giving him the benefit of the doubt
No,
and
no.
allowing for him
This
to
this this is hugely important
push
to
us
get
into a
sorted.
corner. Yeah.
One way or the other, you're leaving, you're staying. Sort it. Tell us. But again, like Pops is saying, yeah, I mean, you can do all that, but like I said, if no club comes in and says we'll buy him, you can't force him to sign for a club.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you do that, those two clubs will go, okay, we'll call your bluff. Real will say, yeah, we'll call your bluff. We'll get in his ear and say, fuck Liverpool, don't sign for anyone else. They can't force you to sign for anybody else. Next year you'll come here on a free anyway. But something has to be done. Something has to be done.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Um, what's this saying? I did see that we did speak on that interview by Gary Neville with Mohamed Salah. It's kind of tough to watch Salah give exclusive interview to a former Red Devil who often ends up being a little bit of an annoyance. Let's see. Shout out to Pops joining us. Big up, big up. I would say that it was very, very handedly given to no, no, no. No to the no, 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 as Crab put it. The only yeses, there were 2 yeses, though, in the group. M. Tarmizi said yes. And Trap Joe said yes for Trent, but no for Madrid. I get what he's trying to say. He says, do it for Trent, but not for, look at it that you're doing more for Trent than you are for Madrid. I don't want to help them in any ways of the word, because it ends up being the reason why they're looking for him to join so early is because they're just looking for extra firepower to go into this tournament with. I don't want to give them any extra arsenal, or firepower at all to end up pulling out another 95 million pounds or whatever, the 95 million euros, whatever it is, like close to 100 million euros is what the winner would get. I'm not looking to see that happen at all. I'm not looking to see that happen at all. And the Konate thing, I agree with you, Brian. We set a mark, or set a line in the sand. Ibu, it's your choice. If you love this club, if you love the direction we're going, if the price is, and albeit it's not going to be 200,000, we understand that's where you think you are, and I understand that. That's great, but if it's close, 160, 180, something like that, do you squabble over 20,000? Basically, if you want to be, and you could very well be a future, you very well could be a future captain of this team. I know that Ibu would love to be a future captain for this club. Set your mark right now. That's how I see it. Set your mark right now by saying where you stand. So, so I think it means Saliba is going to earn 300,000 at Arsenal. Honestly, he's asking, what has he done to earn it? I think what he's done to earn it is he has tempted Real Madrid's eyes on him to be a player they would be interested in bringing in. So what's one way to assure yourself that maybe the player chooses to stay in the role or in the place that he's in? Pay him a lot more money. Pay him a lot more money. And that's exactly what they're doing. Exactly what they're doing.
I just think it's PSG for him. That's what I think.
Madrid still wants Saliba next to Heisen. They do, I know. I don't know if he is now. I'm trying to see who are the. Jeez. If you want money, it's one place you go. It's called Saudi Arabia. Laporte is making bank. Holy crap. So is Koulibaly. Holy crap. Do you know how much Koulibaly makes in pounds for Al Hilal?
Well, he's on
how much Laporte makes for Al Nassr?
He's on about 300 grand a week, something like that, 350 grand a week.
Laporte 390,627 pounds a week is what Laporte is under. Jeez, that is some cake. Talk about crazy. Al Hilal is paying Koulibaly. Does anybody want to guess in the chat how much Koulibaly's making? You can take a guess, Brian, if you want.
That's what I was answering for earlier on. I think he's on around 300 grand a week.
Oh, I thought you were answering for Laporte. That's why. I thought you were answering for Laporte. Laporte is making the 390. You wouldn't even be close, by the way, for Koulibaly. Koulibaly makes a week 553,225 pounds a week. Oh, my goodness. If you can get it, hey, get it, brother. That is some ka-ching. Wow, that is some ka-ching.
Well, yeah, it's tax-free as well, but you got to sell your soul, so it's up to you.
So also, that is ridiculous, though. 553,000 for a player that basically was a flop at Chelsea.
He must have signed up because that's not what he went there on. He must have gotten a new deal since, because he didn't even. Yeah, that must be. He must have even gotten an increase at some point because He was only on 300K, but there's no tax in Saudi Arabia. So when they talk about like
this was published March 8th.
Yeah, no, sorry, don't
This
sweat
was
the
published
details,
March.
but I just mean like no, it's just when they talk about like Virgil's on 200K a week, it's just like but that's before tax. Over there, when they talk about this money, that's like there's no tax. That's just they take home every penny of that money, which is just
now what they do when they have to bring that money back home, that's a different story. But
well, that's why
they don't have to pay any tax to Saudi Arabia, but wherever if Koulibaly's going back to, let's say hypothetically, England, they don't have to pay some type of
that's why Henderson deferred his wages at Ettifaq. Because he would have to pay English tax on his first year's wages. So he actually played for free. He never actually got paid by Ettifaq because he didn't want to. He would have paid English tax on it. So he decided to like defer his wages, but then he left before he even got paid. So he never even got to see any of that 300 grand a week he was probably supposed to be getting. So he fucked. Nice one, Jordan.
Yeah, very much. Shout out to Chris Richards, by the way. And even a proper shout out to Matt Turner too, by the way. I just realized that they're FA Cup winners today. Congratulations, U.S. men's national team players. I was just gonna say, David Alaba is making £358,739 a week. And for whatever you want to say about PSG, who now are in the final of the Champions League, they take care of their defenders. Hakimi and Hernandez, respectively, make $347,000, and Hernandez makes $302,000, basically $303,000 a week. That's some good money. Good money if you can get it. Very good money. I wouldn't be surprised if Ibu goes there too. That's a good shot too by Tarmizi. A lot of players don't mind making the cultural pressure that they'll have to face by going to Saudi Arabia.
No, Tarmizi. I think that's a very naive take on it, man. I think you know that as well. I think Tarmizi, the Muslims is not one big homogenous group of people. There are many very different types, and if you've seen Benzema's life and what he's been up to, I don't think he would qualify for the Come on, don't. I know what you're saying, man. You're a great guy, but that's a slightly naive take on it, man. Benzema may have certain beliefs, but the reason Benzema plays in Saudi Arabia is because they pay him £3 million a week. You want to look at players' wages? That's what Benzema's on. $3 million a week.
But he's speaking.
That's why he's there.
I think he's speaking on the sense of players, culturally, you would like to be in a place culturally that, adheres to your beliefs and the likes. And,
but that's what that's what I'm trying to say is that there's. But in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia is a Wahhabist society, which is a completely different form of Islam, i.e. Muslim. It isn't just one big thing, so it's a completely different country. Benzema grew up in France. He's there because he gets £3 million a week. That's it. I don't think you should make it about that because that's not right at all.
I don't know if that's right or wrong, to be honest with you, but you have your choice.
No, what I'm saying is like Yeah, no, we don't argue about religion, but it's not. There's just like
Yeah,
one form of Islam. There isn't. There's dozens of forms of Islam,
there's
and
definitely
the
there's
version
like
over
just like
there
there's
is
thousands of forms of Christianity. Yeah, sure,
yeah,
but
exactly. So the version they do over there, that's not the one that Benzema and Mane are into. So yeah, it's he's there because he's on 3 million quid a week, man. That's why he's there, and he wanted to leave actually, Benzema, after 6 months. He wanted to rip up his contract. A lot of these guys have gone over. It's not worked out. It's not worked out at all.
I think I believe in what M. Tarmizi is implying. I agree with him in the sense of if there's a place that you can go play and you know that culturally, if not, it might not be an exact match of your faith's beliefs completely, but if you do go to a country that is more Islamic, more pro-Islamic or pro Islam, then it does make it a little bit of an easier transition for players. The same way that some players don't want to go to England or go to countries where they're not going to be able to speak the language completely or something like that. You know, sometimes it's about like what
Yeah, but it's
you
whether you're
and
practicing or not. You know, are they practicing?
yeah, because I know M.
I don't think
Tarmizi is.
Benzema is.
I
Pretty
know
sure
M. Tar.
Benzema isn't, from what I've
Well, I
seen.
get that. I mean,
Let's
like you
just
don't
put it
have to.
that way.
I just don't think that we should. Tarmizi is Muslim, so like
Yeah. No,
explaining the
but so he will know.
religion.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not just their like
That's why
all Muslims would want to live in Saudi is very insulting to Muslims.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Just saying that it could be a factor. That's all. I think it could be a factor.
Yeah. No, but the
We'll
three
see.
million quid a week bit, I think that might turn your head a bit too.
Yeah. So,
Tiny bit of an
so
incentive.
yeah,
3 million bucks a week.
that helps. That helps certainly.
Yowzers.
All right. Well, before I get into my closing statements here, I'll let Brian bring up anything that is out there on his mind. If there's something on your mind, real quick, you have this is your little opportunity to bring up a question or a subject that you wanted us to engage in. If it's if it's at least something that is not only relevant but something that is worthy of being engaged in. Is there anything that's in the papers or in the journals or on your mind that you wanted to maybe highlight or speak on, Brian? Excuse me.
I can try and think of something.
Okay.
No, there's nothing. We're kind of going out with a bit of a squib, but no, I just how this stuff today was good. No, we're everything's won, everything's done.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much left really at the end of this season. So no, not really, not tonight. Unfortunately, sorry, no, I don't have anything off the top of my head I can help you out with.
Okay. Looking to see if anybody else has anything. I don't think anyone does. So, look, Conor Bradley signed, my friends and family. Conor Bradley is signed. Frimpong is reportedly coming in for a medical to get it completed. Florian Wirtz, I know that the streets don't believe it and the streets don't want to hear it, but Florian Wirtz could be someone that follows suit. Osimhen could be a player that ends up being a striker for us next season. I know that's something that K-Mac wants to hear. I don't particularly, but all good. We have Madrid, Barcelona. Beware of those two teams as they are always lurking. This isn't Klopp's rebuild. This is Arne Slot's rebuild of this team. So it's going to be very interesting to see the directions that we get from this first real interpretation or real involvement of our coach helping direct the backroom staff with who and what he believes is the future of our club. And it's not the Madrid controversy might be, if you want to speak on anything, Madrid controversy real quick, it would have been that they're not only going for that they've not only gone for Trent, now they're trying to get Konate to not sign an extension and have him leave on a free at the end of the year so he can go to Real Madrid. The Madrid controversy could be also the fact that Xabi Alonso is targeting Maca as his primary target. And what else could there be? And if you want to bring Barcelona into that question, it could be because they're trying to scoop up Lucho on a reduced figure. For Kevin's question, do you feel we should promote as many academy players as we buy in 25-26? I wouldn't go as far as that. I think that we're going to see Trainioni, we're going to see Rio get some real involvement in our cup competitions next year. But I don't think we're going to really heavily promote. It's very interesting. What I like Jaden Danz, for instance, but I don't think Jaden Danz is going to be promoted to to be a regular with this side. I think what you're probably going to see is him have to be, unfortunately, loaned out for another year so that he can get a proper run. He had a bad season of injuries this year that prevented him from really getting involved in a lot of those cases. Players like Kumas, another name that's been kind of lost in the mix. I think that he's a good player, and who knows what happens to him. I know that there was reports. These aren't obviously youth academy players, but there are players I think that are sooner or more likely to get a run than the youth academy players. I think we only have 2 players that really are youth academy players that are going to get any real attention towards trying to push into this lineup, or maybe pushing this lineup for the future. Because whether it's Jaden Danz or whether it's Kumas, who I spoke on earlier, or maybe even Ben Doak, who, again, we have to figure out what's going on. He's got another surgery coming up. He's going to have to rehab and get back to fitness. But is there a place for a young Ben Doak? He's so young and such a higher. He still has a ceiling, I think, left on his development. We shall see what happens. So that's my answer for that. Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
So I just gotta go. So
okay.
Take care, everybody.
Definitely. We're gonna probably wrap up here. Definitely big up to Brian for joining us on the panel. Big up for everyone that's joined us in the chat, by the way. Big up. Obviously, if you're tuned in, you are part of, hopefully want to be or already a part of the 12th Man community. Please do like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments, who's your dream summer signing? Tell us that. Tell us who is your priority signing for the summer. We've already gotten one signing done. We're about to get another signing possibly done. Tell us who your primary signing is. But I would say thank you for joining us. Shout out to all those that are watching us on the replay as well. And as always, my friends and family out there, up the Reds each and every time. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a preview for our Monday matchup. We'll also do a review of the games that kind of ended up getting hashed out for our Sunday. So we'll see you tomorrow evening. And I hope that it's an incredible Saturday evening, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, whatever you're going through right now. I hope that's an incredible one for you, and we'll see you soon. All right, up the Reds, and definitely take care, brothers and sisters. Take care.